This is Dustin. Welcome to episode 4 of the Rookie Grinder. If you remember our last mission, it went horribly wrong, mostly due to very poor play on my part. Lost 4 leveled up soldiers or 3 leveled up soldiers and a rookie. Now we have to rescue the scientist from this science facility of some sort, and this is going to be a really tough mission. We have 1 heavy and 3 rookies. So the plan for this is to move down the edge of the map and try to get the scientists to safety as quickly as possible and then swing back and mop up any aliens. I've played this map a lot. It typically is very heavy with thin men, and they're pretty scary, especially to rookies, because with this armor they don't survive a shot most of the time from the light plasma rifle, and thin men almost never miss. And when they're being nice to you, they poison you, and once again on this level, if you're poisoned, you have about 4 turns to live, and we didn't bring any medkits. So our plan is basically to try to wipe out any aliens, especially thin men, as quickly as we can when we find them. Play a little bit aggressively, get the scientist where he needs to be, and then mop up any survivors. Now, since it's pretty early in the game, I'm hoping for mostly sectoids. And I do exploit something that I know about the game, which is that the thin men will drop in right here in the back on the first turn. So I set my guys up in Overwatch where they'll all have a good shot at where I know the first thin man is going to be. And that plan works perfectly. Part of my plan is to keep a soldier too close to the scientist and in Overwatch for more unwelcome visitors when they drop by, so hopefully we can take them out before they're really a problem. Fortunately, when the game just drops these guys right on you, it puts them into Overwatch, and you have a pretty good chance of shooting them down right away if you're close, and you have a turn to deal with them before they kind of recover from being in Overwatch. I'm going to try to keep the scientist with his head down in hard cover as much as possible. And I'm also going to try to keep him away from the aliens as much as possible. The one thing you definitely do not want to do is run the scientist when there's any possibility of Overwatch. I've made that mistake before, and it ends badly really quickly. So I'm going to move everybody up as a team, and we're going to get up to this corner, and we're going to see if there's any aliens. Looks like nobody's home around the first corner. Now, this plan is a little tricky right here, because we have to cross a lot of open ground to get to the far edge of the map. So I'm going to move everybody up in relative safety, and then we're going to have to kind of leapfrog through what little cover there is. There's that alien device, which on this map, for whatever reason, is only half cover. And we're going to try to get behind the trailers and the building on the far side of the map, which will keep us from inconveniently activating enemies. Since they're mostly concentrated in the center of the map, it should allow us to control when the enemies get activated. Now, this map is a lot easier if you have a sniper with squad sight. You get them up on the roof here, and they have a clear line of sight, and they can protect everybody. Unfortunately, we never leveled up our sniper that far, and she got killed in the last mission, so we're at a pretty severe handicap. So we're just going to have to play it straight and hope for a little bit of luck. Now, this is the tricky part, because can't really get all the way into cover from here, and I really don't want to dash, because that's almost certainly going to activate some aliens. So I move my person up just 1 square to get her that much closer, and that 1 square was just enough to activate those guys. Now, this isn't too bad, because this is actually a pretty good place to set up an Overwatch trap. So I'm going to move her back where she's not likely to get flanked. And then I'm going to try to bring out my other people where they can hopefully take an Overwatch shot. All the while, I'm keeping that all-important scientist in the back line with his head down, but with somebody where they can cover him in case unexpected company drops by from the sky. This plan almost sort of works, except for I don't get any Overwatch. The sectoid comes up, he takes a shot, he hits my person, It's no good. Now my overall plan for this level is not working out at all. I'm having a hard time formulating a plan where I can kill those sectoids this turn, because if I move up, I'm almost certainly going to activate some more guys. A 30% to hit isn't bad. If I had a couple people where I could shoot him, that would be pretty ideal. Unfortunately, I can't move anybody up into cover where they can shoot him. A reasonable plan might have been to move 3 people out just past the end of the cover here, and all 3 take a shot at him, except for his buddy is out there, and then would certainly get us when we're not in cover. Although, as you could see in the last time, having cover didn't really help us all that much. So the plan I come up with is to move the wounded person out of the line of fire, and then put my remaining people into Overwatch and hope that that sectoid comes out of cover and we can take a shot at him in Overwatch. And he just repeats the same actions. He doesn't break Overwatch. He comes and he takes a shot at one of my people. Fortunately, this time it misses. And now I have some shots that I can take at him. With 3 different people, this gives me really good odds that one shot's going to take him down, so I start shooting. And lucky enough, on the first shot, he goes down. Now we still got one more sectoid out there to contend with, and I go into Overwatch and I hope that he does his suicide charge soon.
I'm on it, Commander. Roger, I've got my eyes on.
The sectoid doesn't appear, so I send a person out to see if I can spot him. I probably should have just run her back, but instead what I do is I move everybody up and I put them into Overwatch. And once again, I'm kind of hoping that the sectoid will show himself and I can nail him with the Overwatch. Looking back, this probably wasn't the best plan. I probably should have Overwatched for a couple more turns. There's a good chance that the sectoid ran off and he's sitting in hidden Overwatch someplace, waiting for me to activate him, though. So I move my people up, so I hopefully have the ability to concentrate fire.
Overwatch, aye aye.
The sectoid doesn't turn up, which is more or less good news. So I move my people back behind this hard cover. Now as I move them, I'm pretty careful to move them out and then back in on the path that I've already tread, so that if there's more sectoids nearby, they don't get alerted to my presence. Or, God forbid, a thin man should come and show up. Now, with a sectoid on the loose, who could come around the corner at any minute and shoot me, this is actually a pretty poor plan. Should keep your people in cover all the time when there's activated aliens on the loose. Otherwise, you're almost certainly going to take a face full of plasma. Once again, the sectoid doesn't show his face, so I proceed with the plan to move everybody up and behind the cover of this tank.
Heading there now. I'm ready. On Overwatch. Yes, sir.
Once again, instead of just dashing this person straight up, I come out at an angle, and then I come back in, because I'm actually fairly afraid of activating a group of aliens that's sitting in the middle of the courtyard over there. And once I'm sure the coast is almost certainly clear, then I bring out the scientist. I'm really, really unhappy that I can't quite get him into cover. He's very vulnerable here, but luckily enough, the sectoid doesn't come around the corner and we survive the turn. I move the scientist up, I get his head down. He's fairly safe for the moment. Now, I've got a pretty good idea that that sectoid is hiding somewhere in these crates to the right-hand side of where the team is facing. So that's kind of what I'm setting up for. I'm trying to set up for storming around this corner on the next turn. So I move my people up
I'm rolling.
and get them all in a position where they can all get around the corner and get into cover on the next turn.
Roger that.
Roger that.
I'm on it.
Scanning.
Unfortunately for me, the sectoid finally shows up in the worst possible place, and he basically gets a free shot at my people who are in the open. This is pretty bad. A couple of 25% chances to hit is pretty good. I'd like to get at least 3 before I take the shot. So I'm going to move this person up.
Moving out.
And then what I should do is take a shot at the sectoid with all 3 people who are out of cover, and then move ahead. What I do instead is kind of stupid.
Copy.
I get 2 people moved up. Now, when I moved up that second person, there was actually a pretty good chance that he was going to activate an enemy patrol. When I moved up the first person, there was a pretty good chance that she would activate an enemy, and he would activate an enemy patrol. Luckily, he didn't. Now that I've moved him up, though, I'm just going to take the sure kill with the grenade. So that problem for now is solved. Now I just need to get my people into cover, and I'm going to continue to just move down this side of the map. And I don't like to put people into cover right next to the building like this, because any sectoids that come up to the corner have a flanking shot on them. It's actually better to move them out to that barrel, even though it's only half cover, or to that box, because if sectoid at the corner doesn't have them in flank position. So I move the scientist up,
Moving to Overwatch.
put everybody into Overwatch, and get ready to kind of
Got it covered.
take the next phase of the plan, which is to move up to the next corner of this building.
Solid copy. Enemies spotted.
And we find another sectoid, who quickly scampers off into a pretty tough position for us. Unfortunately, we actually activated 2 sectoids in a row, and now this person is in a terrible position. Can't really take a shot, no good place to run to, no good way to bring in any backup. If it was just one of them, it wouldn't be so bad, but with the 2 sectoids, I'm in pretty serious trouble. So as you can see, this move down this outside edge of the map plan is working pretty poorly. Although it might actually be turning out better than moving down the middle of the map, where you could activate all the aliens all in one turn and be in serious trouble. Now I try to see if I can get the rocket out here for this sectoid, but it's just not going to happen. I pull my exposed person back and I set up an Overwatch trap.
Okay.
Now what I've learned is that on a level with so much cover like this one, and all of these angles, Overwatch is just pretty much useless. It would have been far better to put everybody in to hunker down and hope that the aliens don't get a hit on anybody. But instead I put everybody into Overwatch,
Field Commander.
and I learn a painful lesson. So my one guy with the rocket launcher is down. This is not good, but the mission is still pretty much salvageable at this point, except for everybody panics. And the little bit of good luck that we've had goes away, and one of my panicking soldiers kills a scientist.
Mission's over. New objective received.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit angry, I'm a little bit on tilt here, so I move this guy up to get a good shot at the sectoid, and of course I activate more aliens. This is pretty bad, especially because that's a thin man, and they almost never miss with those plasma rifles that they have. So I'm trying to think of a way to get him. I can't, but I can take the sure kill with a grenade on this sectoid. Now, once again, a better plan might have been to back up a little bit, back behind that container, regroup, and try to come at this situation a little bit differently. But with so many aliens activated and Overwatch being essentially useless, I feel like I have to take a little more active approach. Fortunately, and just crazily, this thin man misses when he shoots at me, and this soldier lives. I've never actually seen a thin man miss on classic difficulty level before. Unfortunately, I forget about this sectoid when I'm trying to get up to the thin man to take a shot. And I take an Overwatch shot, and worse, I just put this soldier into a terrible, terrible position. However, he has a pretty good percentage to hit this sectoid. Unfortunately, he doesn't take him down. That makes killing this wounded sectoid the priority. Which I'm unable to do with this soldier, so I move one more up and take the shot. Of course, there's nobody to shoot at from where he's at, so I'm going to have to use a grenade, which is too bad because he was already wounded, and this would have been an easy kill. Here comes that thin man around the corner. Fortunately, he must have double moved because he doesn't shoot at us. So I move a guy up, and I shoot him point blank in the head, which with thin men is kind of a bad plan because it's a guaranteed way to get poisoned. It's a doubly bad plan with a soldier who's already wounded. Fortunately, he's the last alien on the map, and the mission isn't a total loss. With not enough resources to research anything, and not enough corpses to sell to buy anything, the only thing to do is wait for the next abductions and deal with them. And my strategy for dealing with them is just to look at the situation room and figure out where I can cause the least amount of countries to leave by the end of the month, take that mission, and hopefully don't mess it up as bad as I messed up the last couple of missions. Join Rookie Grinder next time for Operation Lost Skull. I hope that it's none of my rookies here that are going to lose their skulls.
Get down there and eliminate any hostiles.